Hello everyone, welcome to Biblical Prepping. I'm Judith Garten and this is the prepper portion. Our Earthwise electric chipper shredder. Alright, now that we're back, you'll realize I moved. One thing is I sat down to try and finish some of my coffee from this morning, and I discovered that although I read online that I could use 100 foot, in the manual itself it says 25 feet. So I am now 25 feet from my outlet and I have my cord extended as far as it's going to go, with still remaining loose so that it doesn't rattle loose or out at the outlet itself. So I'm at the gate, and instead of being able to work at my pile there with only the 25 foot cord, I am going to have to bring my piles over here, which is not a problem. I was just hoping to be able to do it right there and get more done over there without having to move the pile. I only have a couple hours this afternoon to get some work done, and my bug spray is not exactly working. Now I've got my handy little Fiskars branch scissors, so these will cut up to about 3/8 of an inch to 5/8 of an inch branch. I have a hatchet handy on the stairs. I'm going to go get that in a bit to cut the things that are a little bit bigger. And I feel like I'm in an election. I got flies on my head. There we go. So I'm just going to go ahead and get it started and put my gloves on the correct hands. Oh, first, earplugs. Remember when I said that my earplugs were arriving? Yeah, they're not. They weren't in the mailbox. So I don't know where they are. I have bought myself a set of 4, so in case I lose any out here in the leaves. And they fit much better than these things. I can't stand these things. These fit in my ears and they hurt my ear canals. So I'm just gonna go for it today. Maybe not. Here we go. I'm not sure that left one is expanding, but we'll give it a minute or two, and we'll get started. We're going to start with a little bit of leaves in the hopper, and just push the button to turn it. I have a bad habit of really wanting to test things well on the very first try. So what I'm noticing is these green nasturtium stems are rather sticky and they're not going through real easy. So I'm actually going to pull these out. The ones that are still in there, I'm just going to leave. And we'll try another handful of leaves in the hopper. Here we go. Now I have to tell everybody, I have never before in my life used a chipper shredder. I've always wanted to, but I've never used one. So when you see me jumping back, it's because, you know, it does give you a warning in the manual to watch as the sticks, if they're a little long, because they might whip around. And so I'm just afraid that they will, because earlier this year I was trimming a branch on a tree over there, And I thought it was far enough away from the part that was going to snap back, and I wasn't, and it whacked me in the face real good. So I keep jumping back because this is all new to me too. But I have to say, it's working pretty fast. Those nasturtium branches or plants were very sticky and very wet. They seem to have kind of caught up a little bit. And I'm not seeing a lot of chipping and shredding on the leaves. They're coming out pretty whole. I think the lawnmower does a better job on the leaves. So I'm just going to keep going through this pile until the camera runs out of time. Well, that was not bad. Not bad at all. And wait till you see this. Just that little pile I had there of sticks, I put it through. Now I put in through some pretty good sized ones. I think I went up to about an inch, inch and a quarter on those. I need to get my little caliper out here to make sure I'm not oversizing. I don't want to go too big on those. But the hopper is actually, I forgot to push it all the way back in. It's about half full. Look at that. Pretty amazing. Now I'm just going to take this. And leave it here for a bit. It's not as heavy as I thought, but I'm going to go put my belly band on so that I can do that. I hear text messages coming in too. I'm going to check that, see who that is. And then I'm going to put my hair up, and I think I'm going to work my way through some more of that pile. Until about 4:30, and I'm really excited. It's doing a good job. I just don't know where I want to dump the first batches of mulch, whether I want to do in the pathways or what. So what do I think of the Earthwise GS70015? I have a few dislikes. 1, the collection bin actually does vibrate out a little bit if for some reason the front of the chipper faces down a slope even slightly. The solution is simple. Just turn the chipper quarter turn or so and make it more level. Solves the problem completely. 2nd, pay attention to the manual's warnings because the branches really can whip around quite fast and they might hit you in the face. And number 3, I'm not a fan of using it on vines, green or brown. Even branches with vines that were intertwined didn't always chop the vines up at all, often wrapped them around the spindle of the blades. And the solution is unplug the unit, then disassemble the motor portion. It's easy to unclip and clip back together. Then you got to remove or cut out the vines from the tangle. Number 4, it doesn't chop the leaves up very much and it leaves a lot of them whole. The mower does a better job, so I'm going to be mowing the leaves that are in the beds and in the pathways. Number 5, when rolling it from place to place, it is a little bit wobbly. Earthwise might want to take a little time to consider a wider base of some kind so that it doesn't wobble from side to side. But if you're aware of it, keep an eye out for it, watch, and you can prevent it from falling. And the final dislike is that I truly do wish you could use something longer than a 25-foot cord. That's very limiting as far as location in our yard, and I was hoping to be able to use it in the pathways and the woods as we cut down trees. So what are my likes? Well, the holes in the top of the motor unit, they're the same size diameter as the largest diameter branch you can put through that chipper, so you will be prevented from trying to shove something too big through the unit. Number 2, I've had plenty of very long branches through the unit, chipped them up very well. Only 2 or 3 needed to be cut shorter. However, watch the side branches because, like I said, they can whip around and hit you in the face. Number 3, crooked branches. Not every branch is straight. Branches with odd forks did pretty well going through. Only a few of them needed to be cut at those forks to help them fit down into the blades, because if they're not cut and they're not going to go through, they can jam your blades. Don't want that to happen. Number 4, very easy to unlatch and open the motor section to clean it out. Clean it only when it is unplugged, please. You might need a whisk broom or brush to clean out some of the chips. An inexpensive one from the dollar store would work perfectly. Number 5, fits well into our shed with all the other tools that we are accumulating, especially our Earthwise electric tiller, our wheelbarrow, and the bucket full of flower pots. All goes nicely on one side. And the final like. It is very quiet in comparison to larger models, but you still need to use ear protection, please, as it is loud enough to harm your ears. So that's it in a nutshell. That's my summary. I really was hoping that I could go cord-wise. I'm going to email Earthwise, see if I can go a little bit longer. At least if I can get 50 foot, I can get into the pathways. And the nice thing is then I can just do without the hopper and just shred where I'm at. I'd really like to do that, work on that. So I'm going to email them and see what length I can go with. See if maybe I can go. I know some of my electric tools, you can go with a longer length as long as your gauge is better or different. So I'm going to work on that. Now, if you've watched a couple of my other videos, you'll notice that in the kitchen I say I'm really trying to get away from electric appliances. So I'm not working in the kitchen with things like Instapots, crock pots, things like that. I want you to be able to take whatever I'm doing in the kitchen and transfer it outside if you have to onto the barbecue or onto the fire pit. But when it comes to being able to do the work we need to do out here on our little tiny piece of property, I need to be able to have some of the equipment that we need right away cost effectively, and that meant we needed to buy some of the electric tools. So I've got my little electric tiller. Someday I will upgrade to something else. Might even be horse and buggy at this rate with the diesel and the gas going up and shortages and whatnot. So we might get ourselves a donkey. Who knows? And that might be how we till the garden, mow the lawn. The same thing. But so that I have my little leaf blower, my little tiller. Jim's got his electric chainsaw. That's where some of these sticks have come from. That I'll be taking care of today. He's got a nice pile over there I'm gonna get. And we've got more trees that are dying or dead that have to come down, and they've got branches I can run through this as well. So now we have our little electric chipper shredder, and I am very pleased with it. Now I'm going to do some reading up, and I'm going to check and see what people say as far as when the blades need replacing, because I want to make sure I get an extra set of blades on hand. And that way we've got them. I'm also going to look in to see whether or not they can be sharpened. Jim's getting into sharpening and things like that, so we'll see whether that's feasible. So I hope that you've enjoyed this review. I will probably include a few other things. I know I said I would tell you why I chose this one over the Sunjo, and I will say one of the big things was this hopper. I really love this hopper. I think it has helped protect my face a few times today, and I'm glad I didn't get the Sunjo, especially because it does not have a hopper. I would probably be more likely to have whipped my face a few more times than I did today. So I'm going to leave this plugged in for right now. I'm going to run and get my belly band and get another pile of logs or sticks, and we're going to have more fun. So make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, because we are really doing some cool stuff coming up. Blessings and shalom.